Okay, so we're going to go over this activity, solve equations with integer solutions. And so to start, we're given a description of a problem in words here, and we're going to try to write an equation. So given temperature in degrees Celsius, we want to convert that to an equivalent temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. And they give a description of how to do that. Before we write our equation, let's go ahead and define our variables. So you can probably guess, C is for degrees Celsius. And then F is for Fahrenheit, so that'll be degrees in Fahrenheit. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to translate the words into a formula to find the degrees Fahrenheit given the degrees Celsius. So we know we're going to have F equals something in terms of our C. Back to our description, it says we multiply degrees Celsius by 9. Okay, so 9 times degrees Celsius, and then divide that product by 5. So I'm going to divide it by 5. Last, we add 32. Okay, so I've found an equation that takes degrees in Celsius and converts it to degrees in Fahrenheit. Alright, let's go ahead and use our equation. So for number 3, we're going to use our formula or equation here to convert the following. It looks like they already took negative 100 degrees and converted it to negative 148. So let's move on to negative 50. Feel free to use a calculator for that. So for the negative 50, I'm going to just kind of do my work here off to the side. I've got F equals 9 times negative 50. Again, that's Celsius, so I'm plugging in for C, over 5 plus 32. So taking my calculator, I've got 9 times negative 50 divided by 5. Hit equals there. I don't think you'd actually have to. Hopefully your calculator would just know to divide and then add 32. Assuming you're using a scientific calculator or a graphic calculator, it should just know. Anyways, I end up with negative 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, likewise, let's do the same thing but for 0. So plugging in 0 for Celsius, I get 9 times 0 over 5 plus 32. Okay, anything times 0, 0. 0 divided by 5 is going to be 0, so that's going to just be 0 plus 32, which is 32. Don't really need a calculator for that one. Alright, so 0 degrees Celsius is 30 degrees Fahrenheit, or freezing. Oh, let's go ahead and put our degrees sign on there. Alright, last we've got 100 degrees, so again, I'm kind of just trying to work this off to the side. Probably should have had some scratch paper, but that's okay. So let's go ahead and plug in 100. F equals 9 times 100 over 5 plus 32. And again, I'm just going to put that right into my calculator. Okay, end up with 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, got my table filled in. So explain what information you know from the table when C equals 0. Use the words Celsius and Fahrenheit in your explanation. Alright, so when we have 0 degrees Celsius, using our table, we see that that means it is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to go ahead and just abbreviate Celsius with C and Fahrenheit with F. Note that these are both ways of saying freezing temperature. Alright, so if you ever see negative degrees Celsius, you know that that means it's below freezing. Whereas with Fahrenheit, it'd have to be below 32 to mean it's below freezing. Moving on to number 5, plot each point from the table above and connect those points with a line. So I've got negative 100, looks like starting right here on my Celsius is on the horizontal axis, and negative 100, negative 148. So we just want to get close to the negative 150 for that point. Negative 50, Celsius goes with negative 58. It's a little bit past the negative 50 for Fahrenheit. 0 goes with 32 degrees, so about, I don't know, a little more than halfway to the 50. And then 50 goes with 122. It's about halfway between 100 and 150. And then at 100 degrees goes with 212. So a little bit past the 200. And it looks like we do get a straight line when we connect those dots. Okay, so comment on the general trend. So I guess just what's happening as degrees Celsius is increasing, we see the degrees Fahrenheit is also increasing. Estimate the temperature in degrees Celsius when it's 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you're looking at our line, I mean, just from looking at my graph, I would guess it's something a little bit above, 200, maybe like 210. Oop, I'm sorry, that was 100 degrees Fahrenheit. My bad. I was looking at Celsius. Let's go back a step. 100 degrees Fahrenheit would be actually right here. Let's go over. So that would be what? Just a little bit below 50 degrees, so maybe about, I don't know, 45 degrees Celsius. Okay, sorry about that. So that's, again, 100 degrees Fahrenheit. On the line, that gives me 45 degrees Celsius. For number 8, estimate the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit when it's negative 150 degrees Celsius. So making sure I'm looking at negative 150 degrees Celsius, that would be right here. All right, that's negative 100, negative 150. Go down till we hit the line. It looks like it's almost to negative 250. So I'm going to estimate it about negative 240 degrees Fahrenheit. And that would be a good guess. Now remember, we could always go back to our equation up here to check that. So if I plugged in negative 150 for the C and did the calculation, hopefully I would get something close to negative 240 degrees Fahrenheit.